So we guys are taking a tour of Hovercraft Museum, Joy and me, and we'll just these hovercrafts, for example, Princess Anne, very oldest in Britain's history, and made by engines were made by Rolls-Royce, and these used to inflate so that it was able to run like a ship on in sea as well as on land. That was the magic of these machines. And the military, army, naval have used it in past, and they still use actually.
This is our first military craft, built by the British Hovercraft Corporation in 1968, taken over by the Navy in 1970. Notice on the fins, P235, a naval patrol boat number. Between the two fins, notice the green cone. That is where a single pylon was fitted with a single propeller on it to operate the craft. Two skirt fans were fitted like that once we get on board.
That's the funnel.
XW255, an international military aircraft number. They weren't quite sure how to classify these craft. So, back end's a boat, front end's a plane. But there's not many aircraft you see with bollards and anchors on board. The round cap there is the fuel intake for the single Proteus gas turbine engine fitted. And we'll now go on board and have a look round. One forward, one aft. It's like the full program. We've got about 25 volunteers, 5 of them trustees, and once the services, they all down here doing the whole
Karcher thing looks out of place, doesn't it?
Yeah. Come.
Do all the applications for a bigger lottery grant to actually do some improvements. Oh well. Polaroid land camera. You know, instant film.
Originally built 1968, as I say, taken over by the Navy in 1970. Its initial role was as a troop carrier. Believe it or not, where you're standing, there was room for 150 fully booted troops. Or, on most occasions, 60 troops and 2 scout cars or 3 Land Rovers. As this craft done 60 knots or so, they were only ever huddled together like that for about half an hour. Its job was to get them and their transport quickly from A to B, land them and then stand offshore, pick them up on the way back. The Navy then fitted two extra auxiliary power units. As I say, the single Proteus engine for propulsion and drive the fan motors. These two auxiliary power units, APUs, for rover gas turbines. Why would they need so much power? That's much better explained if you go in the ops room. If the motorcyclist would like to go in the wardroom, we'll split the group like that. It'll make it a lot easier so everybody can see everything.
Now, do we start a riot?
Oh, Batman. It's true. What Bruce is doing here?
I just remember how difficult they are to steal these things.
Cigarettes.
I had to go in like a little single-seater one.
Yeah.
These are all classic cigarette packs.
You turn it, basically it's like,
Yeah.
you basically carry on going the same way you were, so you face the opposite way.
Milk, sugar, tea, but there's a pantry.
That's the advantage of them is you could take them up, if you've got a long beat.
Well, in 1981, the sonar set was fitted. Hence the need for the dummy funnel. All the controls and cabling to drop the sonar transducer. Here it is, you can see quite a large bit of kit. Drop that down into the water 10, 20 metres, pinging for mines and submarines. This was an ideal craft for this sort of job. Aluminium hull. Wouldn't be affected by magnetic mining. Also, when doing sonar ops, the skirt fans weren't used. So no noise down there, wouldn't be affected by acoustic mining. So it's an ideal platform for this sort of work, and very successful. Up in the Arctic Circle, we went up for warm weather trials, cold weather trials, and also visiting Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Germany, a sort of sales trip. Went up there for 3.5 months under its own steam with the backup of a Royal Fleet auxiliary ship supplying fuel and food. Any mechanical problems were fixed by the 18 crew who lived on board. They had 18 bunk beds out here on the car deck and heavy duty sleeping bags. And if you look into the galley, you'll see a 1970s microwave. So they had all the comforts of home. Any questions? We used to be able to take you up into the cockpit. Unfortunately, in behind them.
There's a cockpit.
Hovercraft carrying fare-paying passengers.
Seems like a Spitfire. Yeah.
Quite impressive.
Yeah.
Box, pylon, all ready to be refitted once we get it strengthened inside. At the rear end you'll see the huge circular Proteus exhaust and the two smaller angle rover gas turbine APU exhausts. That drum thing bolted on the back is a Doppler radar.
Alan, is this the one, the largest?
Yes.
Oh, so this is the largest in world?
No, there's a military one which is slightly larger.
Oh,
Would
okay.
you like to put those in the ticket office? Save you carrying them around.
Sure. As Alan just said, this is the largest hovercraft. Not the military one, they have a bigger one, military one as well. But this was the largest in world hovercraft. So we are going to enter the largest hovercraft now, the Princess N. I think engine was made by Rolls-Royce. I'm not sure though.
Advertisement running on there, plus a bit more about Hovercraft. Please be careful as you walk round. The clips on the bit, they were there to tie vehicles down in rough weather. Then, after a couple of trips and a couple of insurance claims, they were used to tie vehicles down all the time. A couple of them bumped into each other, and so they claimed on insurance, and not very good for the company. So every trip they then tied them down. It is massive. This
Massive.
is the final version. This
Indeed.
is the Mark III version. We'll talk about Mark 1 and Mark 2 in a minute.
420
cars.
passengers, 60 cars.
Please stay down this end. We will see it all. You're very welcome to join in. And the doors, that end were controlled. This
Hydraulic cabin.
Chris, sorry. The three crew run up and down there, and at one time, again, we were allowed to take you up there, but again, now health and safety says no. We have refurbished this side totally.
That's the passenger area, Joy.
Hovercraft were a symbol of national innovation and represented the future of transportation.
Passengers used to sit here, and that area was for 60 cars.
Please take a very comfortable seat.
See, old style cigarettes. Cigarette.
These aren't the
Cigarette.
This is cattle club. But they are available for sale.
Ashtrays.
The whole thing. A row of 3 is 130, a row of 2 is 90, and the tables you'll see in a minute is 80. A cafe over the Isle of Wight 5 years ago asked if we could supply them, and we did. They took 30 commissions. 6 of these craft were built. Princess Anne, Princess Margaret, Prince of Wales, Swift, Shaw and the Sir Christopher. All were built at Cowes on the Isle of Wight between 1967 and 1974. Those of you not familiar with Cowes, as you go into the harbour on the ferry, to the left you'll see this huge hangar building with a Union Jack on the door. That is where these were built, and fortunately still there today, and they are keeping it ticking over by having the servicing for the fast ferries on the Thames. Go there to have their refits done. So they're still keeping the maritime and nautical trainees, Scottish is still there on the island to do the job. Right, we'll have a quick look down the far end and you'll see how huge they are. We now go into Premier Class.
Premier class.
There's a no smoking section.
I was just looking at that, yeah.
No ashtrays here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. This is premier class. Huge. Indeed huge.
Oh, yeah, that's what
Bar.
Please take a seat again. Need it because they didn't do meals on board as such. Snacks, teas, coffees, hot sausage rolls, meat pies. And also, as the stewards and stewardesses went round serving you with your snacksy-free order, this was only in reasonable weather. If it was rough, you used to have to get your duty-frees from the termini. But if they were operated on a really, not necessarily really smooth day, but on flat days, they done their trading on board. And for that half hour, the stewards and stewardesses were literally run off their feet, because 2 minutes before disembarkation, they turned up at your car and bought your duty-free order. These were heavily used at the time for what was colloquially called the booze cruise. You came down to Dover, or I didn't mention the 6 that were built. Anne and Margaret operated from Dover to Calais, and up to 1992 Dover to Boulogne. 1992 that route was taken over by the catamarans and trimarans, but they carried on Dover to Calais. The other 4 were operated by Hover Lloyd, a Scandinavian firm. They operated from Ramsgate, Pegwell Bay, to Calais, and also to Ostend on occasions in Belgium. So all these 6 craft plied their trade cross-channel and used on the booze cruise. Depending on how thirsty you were, you came down to Dover or Ramsgate in your car, van or lorry, and crossing the channel got your duty-free allowance on the way out. This meant you could buy very, very cheap tobacco products and spirits. You could buy quite cheap wines as well, but they didn't compete with the Belgian and French supermarkets. So you bought your spirits and tobacco products on board. You then disembarked the other end, done whatever you were going to, and then called in at the French or Belgian supermarkets and topped up with beer, topped up with wine, and then got your duty-free allowance on the way back. So this was very lucrative for the ferries and the hovercraft companies. Once that money was lost, that was the final nail in the coffin for hovercraft. The other reasons they stopped in year 2000, Channel Tunnel, opening in 1996, really affected them. Cost of fuel at the time, lots and lots of Gulf Wars going on. This drinks 5,000 litres an hour. Quite a thirsty craft.
5,000 litres an hour. Can you imagine?
New craft coming into service, trimarans, catamarans. Although they were reasonably quick, not as quick as the hovercraft. And also they were limited to going out in a force 3. They couldn't go out in above a force 4. These went out in a force 7. Not recommended. Sick bags were basically compulsory, but they were still quick, and that's what hovercraft were all about. So we've done tunnel, we've done fuel, duty free, engines, 4 Proteus marinised gas turbine engines. Marinised, yes, but not totally salt waterproof. So after every trip, I had to have a good wash down. And once a week, I believe, demineralised water had to be used. So it was huge extra maintenance expense. Crossing record in September 1995. It actually crossed the channel in 22 minutes.
Oh.
That is 65 miles an hour over water. That is going some. This record trip is well documented on the internet. Normal allotted time was 35 minutes. It all invariably always beat that. 30 was common. 28 not rare. So that was the whole essence of hovercraft. They beat any other opposition in the channel crossing, and as I say, not only the roll on, roll off bit made it quicker to the turnaround, but even amazingly the French and British customs got in on the act and enabled passengers not to do anything illegal, but got them through quite a bit quicker. One of the most, I won't say one of the most questioned asked of tour guides, believe it or not, where are the loos? What do the loos look like? Funny bunch, shouldn't we? But over COVID period, we have opened a couple of loos up, and on the way back down onto the car deck, you can have a look at a hovercraft loo. You can't use it, but you can look at it.
Sure.
The last thing I want to mention while we're up here, on your way out, have a look through this window here, and look down, and then look behind me. And you'll see the huge problem we're fighting. There's a blooming great hole down here, and there's a blooming great hole behind me. Normally, the deck is made up of this inch bit of wood, fiberglass and aluminium, and underneath fiberglass and aluminium. Quite strong. And this craft has been here since year 2000. Never ever happened before. But 3 years ago, one of the very first name storms, I don't remember naming storms much before that. One of them, we're not sure which one, it was COVID, so we weren't in here every weekend.
It was Katrina.
Katrina, almost certainly, yes.
Yes.
A huge blast came between the BH7 and the Coast Guard house. Literally got under the skirt. Needed somewhere to get rid of its power, and that's how it did it. It just blew that hole. Causing a bit more expense for us, which we can well do without. But have a look at that. That's the hole behind me. And we'll meet again down on the car deck, and also have a look at the loo.
Come on. Come on, let's check the. See the loo. Huh? It's just like aeroplanes.
All coming this way. Skirt fans fitted. 12-foot centrifugal fan. Roughly one in each corner. When they're spun up to speed, it lifts the craft 4 metres at the rear.
Oh man.
Sorry, 3 metres at the rear, 4 metres at the front to give it a slight advantage over. Behind that screen there, that's also 2 Proteus gas turbine engines and a single auxiliary power unit. Behind this screen here, another 2 Proteus gas turbines and another auxiliary power unit. The front fans and propellers driven by a huge long drive shaft running either side of the craft.
Indeed.
When cows actually took Anne and Margaret back and stretched them, we're going to see a picture of that, how they achieved that in a minute. Barely a year to do each craft. Not quite sure how. Every single wire, cable, anything you can think pipe, anything you can think of actually removed. So brilliant engineering work at cows to do Anne first and then Margaret. How they achieved that, we'll look at a picture in a minute, but if you all come over this side, with the light now, you'll be able to see the joint in a minute. Right. Can you all see up there a number 10 up in? I'll call it the ceiling. There's a cross bracket where I'm pointing.
Number 11.
There's a 10 here.
Okay.
Sorry, is it 11?
Yeah.
Right,
11,
10
yeah.
is missing.
Yeah.
then 9,
Hmm.
8,
Yep.
7.07, 7.065321, and then 6543321. If you're on the 7.0 bit, that's the bit they put in the middle, 25 metres it's actually measured, and stretch the craft. How they achieved it, again, a photo explains it differently.
Sure that would cost more than more than
That's the one we want.
Oh. I said, and we're stretching. Alan, have you experienced sitting in this one once it was all in 90?
No, I only managed to get on the large one.
The military one?
Yeah.
Naval
no,
one?
No, this.
Yeah, okay.
Only to visit. I never actually travelled on it. I went on board it, but
Sure.
not travelled. All were built this size. But Anne and Margaret were literally stretched. They literally cut them in half, opened them up, and put in this bit and welded and bolted it back together.
That's amazing.
25 metres. A lot of passenger ships, petrol tankers are also
No, we
done
could have-
to
could have
increase their
imagined.
capacity. It was in
Three parts
vogue
they
at the time.
distributed.
Yeah.
And
You
made
see
a
the difference.
private
There's
one.
a
Yeah,
Mark II and Mark III.
splendid. Splendid.
Sorry, what year were they stretched?
There you go. As long as you're careful, please, I'll try and show you the drive shaft. Quite interesting to see, but it is fenced off. We will take you around if you file through. Make sure that ends up. 650 rests a minute. And believe it or not, the Mark I version of this craft, they had passengers actually sitting here. You were at car deck level, we had car fumes. You had this above your head, churning around, really noisy. And you couldn't see a thing.
Oh no.
You were totally claustrophobic. So after many complaints, and 2 years later, they got rid of these internal passenger compartments. That was a normal full length. Then once they stretched it, that's the extra bit that's on. Those are what we now call a cushion craft. All the air ducting and fans are internal, making them reasonably quiet. Hovercraft were a bit noisy. It's still a hovercraft, but it's classified as a cushion craft. It took him about 5 years to build. Quite simplistic. Reverse. Forward. That easy. Also, the skirt was foldable. It's on hinges. Very narrow roads on the island, so to get it round the island, folded the skirts up and away he went. He had about 8 years use of it and then gave it to the museum. Very pleased to have it here, because we will see a couple of examples of a huge manufacturer copying this hinge idea.
Alan, are the engines made by Rolls-Royce? Splendid. So just like today, these days also Rolls-Royce make the engines.
Rolls-Royce don't make the engines anymore, sadly, but we have got one in here you can have a
Yeah,
look at.
sure.
There is the cockpit off of the Swift. After the tour, please do go and have a sit in there, put the headsets on, and you pretend you're driving one.
Splendid.
Just to make your own noises.
Just take a quick look.
Got noise in there.
What a beauty. Just like Harley have stolen the ideas of these cockpits from these things. Big beasts. Beauty. So this is rain today.
I don't know if you can see it on there.
Yeah, but this app name is rain
Yeah,
today.
look, it's come out. There we are.
Which
Hang on. Just get,
now coming.
yeah,
Rain today.
the top here. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, this is the one. Rain today. Yeah, Algana.
Right.
Download
Rain
it,
Today,
yeah.
it's called.
Splendid.
And it's free.
Over the COVID period, 2 buildings on the airfield disappeared when they were both listed. So it doesn't give them the longevity protection and longevity that I thought. Huge contractor in there and 6 subcontractors. We're hoping our 2 hangars will get the same treatment by the redevelopment that's going on for the whole site that was granted planning permission 2 years ago. We also got full 2 years ago after the first attempt, which is pretty good. And also last year we got our first lottery award. As I was mentioning to a few of you earlier on, this lottery award won't see any huge great changes like we've got to make. It's going to pay for the documentation and bureaucracy, managing the rebuild, and a resource manager actually sitting in the office looking enabling us to apply for a large grant which will see the improvements. One of them is moving to that level with the end of that hangar. Construction, refurbishment, those houses over there, there's about 60, 70 of them already been built. The development line goes up this way, including that hangar, not including that one, and down there again. This is going to be, hopefully, they think the Coast Guard place at the front built on the old Waldron site and the Captain's House site. 2000, we took that Griffin a bit later. But this is one of 4 retired of Royal Marines usage. But notice along either side. This enables this to be folded up and put into a standard NATO 40-foot container, so it can be transported all around the world in that container. This craft here, got very curved cross channel craft, and SRN6. We do run the engine up with this one. It's a single gnome engine. Run it up every 6 months just to keep it ticking over. Say the very first cross channel, 28 passengers sat in with the pilot and captain and navigator. No such thing as duty free on here. It was all done at the terminal. But they still done it in 30 minutes. That was the whole essence of Hovercraft. The speed of the trip. 2 years later, the huge ones came into service. And this was retired to the Cowes Southampton run. And then later, retired onto the Isle of Wight run. The Bride South Sea. Same chassis as this craft, utilised by the Army to build the well deck craft behind it.
Extremely rich knowledge, Alan. 3+ decades experience in Navy as a brass band officer. Do you know that? Alan used to work for Navy. He was a naval officer.
Yeah.
At a class 1 naval officer. Thus the rich knowledge. Veteran. Salute to all the
It's
veterans.
the same chassis as that one, but
Yeah.
hollowed out so that it can transport 30 troops and 3 Land Rovers.
Mm.
The actual circular tanks you see on the craft aren't for fuel for the hovercraft, it's fuel for the Land Rovers. So they've basically got a portable garage. Over COVID, once again we were allowed in occasionally. We're able to tidy this area up. It was a total junkyard, but now you've got this brilliant view of the rear of an SRM4. Four huge exhausts and the 2 APU exhausts. It is absolutely massive. They were very, very rarely used. Yeah.
We are going.
Gents and ladies.
Take a seat again. Not quite as comfortable. Pretty Spartan, but they still are reasonably comfortable. The very last hovercraft built by the British Hovercraft Corporation in 1991, 30 odd years ago. Their works were taken over by the only firm in the UK now building large hovercraft, Griffon Hoverworks, now Griffon Marine. They took it over in 1991. And prior to that, the original factory was Vickers Supermarine Factory, where they built Spitfires. Bombed during the war, reverted back to aviation after the war, fully refurbished, and then in 1961 taken over by the British Hovercraft Corporation until 1991. And then Griffon took that over, and also to help them complete a £25 million contract for Japan, they took over a building just down the road at Porchester. Those of you familiar with the area, Porchester Harbour, one of the Vosper buildings, they've taken over one of those, and that is where they built 3 brand new hovercraft on this £25 billion contract for Japan. Slightly larger than this. This is 80-seater. They wanted 100-seaters. But amazingly, just before they gave this to the museum, they introduced the Japanese who were interested in this contract. Would you be happy if we built 3 of these? Except for the slight modifications, the Japanese said yes, because it is still pretty up to date. Diesel engines as opposed to gas turbines, so a lot easier to maintain, a lot cheaper to run, and they've been out there 2 years now, and I believe they're working very, very successfully at what was called Oyota Airfield. This airfield was built 12 years ago on reclaimed land. To get to the airfield from the city, they had to build a motorway, which meant you're very welcome to listen in. A motorway built clean to the side of a cliff, and there's a single lane either side. That motorway got so clogged up, it was taking an hour and a half instead of the original 15 minutes. So now they run hovercraft, which does it in 7.5 minutes. No brainer. And it's working. And again, over COVID period, Oyota Airfield announced, sadly, their progression wasn't going to happen just now, but in future it still is earmarked to be Japan's first space station. So they really, it's really going to notice that they are using hovercraft. But even better than that, Griffin are working on electric hovercraft. Once they get NiCad batteries with enough oomph, they will progress with that. But even better than that, they are now looking at a hydrogen craft. Think about it. It's hovering over its fuel. Once they get a cheap way of doing hydrolysis, scooping the water up, converting it to oxygen and hydrogen, you need a huge, great unit to do it at the moment, and it's quite expensive. But once they get that miniaturised, they've got hydrogen cars now, so that must be the way ahead, and they will be very, very green. And Griffin will be in the forefront, which to me is brilliant. Now going the last bit of the tour. Mind your head on the way out, please. Right, you've seen this briefly when you came in.
Yeah.
Our last hangar. Quite a few exhibits in here. The two you've pointed out from the James Bond film Die Another Day. There is a clip running there of the film.
Oh.
And we'll do it now. If he comes here, I can do a bit of magic. I can get rid of that.
Thank you, Alan.
Nothing up his sleeve.
The only thing we ask, please try and avoid treading there.
Go.
When you go, put your hand on the shoulder if it helps. Try and avoid treading.
Thank you, Alan.
Are you happy for
Oh,
me to have?
yeah. Please. Joy.
I have to ask.
Thank you. Be careful, don't point towards anybody.
That's heavy.
That is awesome.
Get Chris Brosnan in.
Awesome, Joy. Sure, gone like this. Splendid. Come.
Okay.
That was a golden opportunity, wasn't it?
And again, try and avoid that bit.
Thank you. Aja.
See the one you just sat in
Yeah.
on the clip here. So see the small ones and the large one, both actually operating very, very. There they are.
Oh yeah.
You were in one of those.
Yeah, I remember this. I've seen this movie.
It's actually supposed to be the demilitarised zone between North and South Korea. It was actually filmed at Aldershot.
So they were the exactly same.
That is Aldershot, yes.
This was
That's
and
the
this
one.
is the
Yep,
same.
That's
Yeah.
the one. That's the big one. This one. Yes, this one is. That's it. So much easier to transport. I think the Osprey craft, as opposed to Griffin craft, but they still made them with the hinged skirt. Bumpers, what do you call Fenders. This is amazing. This is the small one that you were in. In a minute, you see this one here. See the cameraman?
Yeah.
There!
Yes.
That was close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's the cockpit of the Mark. We are hoping to have it in its red, white, blue livery soon. There's one on here. I think they have moved things around. So we're hoping to have this in its red, white and blue livery soon. When they stretched Anna Margaret, they also stretched the cockpit. It's quite a bit bigger than the one you can sit in outside in a minute. One of our fun craft here with appropriate number plate.
Enjoy. Enjoy.
Converted mini kit. Mini car kit with appropriate number plate. Underneath the bonnet, believe it or not, there's a Citroen. No, underneath the bonnet there's a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower engine, and at the rear a Citroen 2CV engine. It finished a refit about 3-5 years ago. Every time we try and move it, as long as we've got a brand new battery, fully charged, key in all the way.
Over mini.
I would think so. Right behind it, the Orange Craft, 22 years on the Isle of Wight line, Hovercraft. 65 passengers sat inside. After the tour again, you can walk all that road. And SRM6 done a huge amount of work on the Isle of Wight. The thing to notice on that craft though is under the radar pages, the Royal Naval badge. Hovercraft actually had contracts to provide mail and newspapers to the island by 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes off the road, sometimes at the fire, but most days it's 4 o'clock. One of our boys enjoy. Got to take a photo of this.
Oh,
The Rolls-Royce Proteus gas turbine engine. But even better, get a picture of this.
yeah.
The proper name, Bristol Proteus. Before Rolls-Royce took them over, Bristol were the original inventors of this
Sure.
engine. Used on the Britannia aircraft, on the Elizabeth flying boat craft, and this one actually didn't see service in either hovercraft or aircraft. It was a standby generator in a power station. But we're very, very pleased to have it here and hope Rolls-Royce have forgotten that they've loaned it to us.
No, they won't ask back. I'm pretty sure they won't. It's at the right place and will be well preserved here.
Quite an interesting craft again here. One of the
Rolls
other
Royce.
cushion craft that developed from that bloke off the Isle of Wight. All the fans and air circulation all contained, making it pretty quiet. Not stealth by any means, but quiet. This was operated by 200 Squadron Royal Corps of Transport and saw service in the deserts and up in Scandinavia. How they achieved it, once again, very similar to the hinge, but this time the skirt came up and they were able to put 15 troops either side. The very first hovercraft owned by the museum, the SRM5 here with the yellow flags on. Once again, after the tour you can go aboard it, it is a dual drive hovercraft. Virtually every single first hovercraft pilot done his training on that craft. On our right at the moment, there's the navigator seat. On the left, there's the instructor and trainee seat. It's a dual drive hovercraft. The very last bit of the tour, before I tell you about the Daleks, there. Currently on Heritage Days, which was last Sunday and this Sunday, there's a lecture about the SRN 6 craft and one Doctor Who series involved SRN 6 craft. So he comes out, he is wireless controlled, one of our volunteers actually built him. He's quite brilliant when he comes out. That lecture is tomorrow afternoon, the last one is at 3:30. Yes, 15:30. Last bit of the tour. Good afternoon. Apologise for the lighting in these cabinets. They should be brilliantly lit. But unfortunately over Christmas this year we had a major flood and we've had the pack testing man in and he has condemned them if the public are in. We cannot switch the lights on. There's an earth leakage and every single one of those models was built somewhere in the UK full size. Quite amazing.
Indeed.
One of my favourites in the museum though, believe it or not, this one.
Yeah.
Doesn't look a great deal, does it? Until I tell you. This was built in 1973 by 14, 15 and 16-year-old school children. At
Awesome.
Hayes Grammar School in Middlesex.
Awesome.
What a brilliant way to teach them physics, electrics, anything. It just, sadly it wouldn't be allowed these days, health and safety wouldn't have it, but what a way of teaching them physics. Huge. Of interest to you, 4-stroke matchless motorcycle engine at the front there.
So it probably didn't run for very long.
It had a pretty good life.
I've got a Norton, that's
Yes,
really good.
billions.
Ah.
They needed a huge engine at the front because if you notice, it's quite a large fan. If you notice the skirt, they couldn't afford rubber or neoprene. It's wax canvas. Hence the need for the huge fan and the drive. Won loads and loads of prizes, and in my mind, deservedly so. 8-man lift. 8-man lift.
8-man lift. Joy? Can you imagine?
Through in the cockpit, the other 5
No, to move it.
Move it.
Yeah.
8-man can lift it.
And with one in the cockpit, keep it hovering while he didn't move it. We're now going to a quick homage to Sir Christopher. SRN1 without and with skirt, and there's its logbook by kind permission of the Science Museum, open on the day it crossed the channel. But even better than all of this lot, ta-da!
Oh, splendid.
Here we have Cockerell's prototype, not a model, this is it. Again, by kind permission of the Science Museum.
And that's the original one.
Yep, this is the original one. There it is. That's the same one. Those of you interested in model aircraft, there's a model aircraft petrol engine in there, and the superstructure is, what do you call it? Doped canvas, is it? Stretched over a...
Dope tissue, dope
Yeah,
nylon.
yeah. Stretched over a balsa wood, so it's very, very light. And if you look, it's on a mirror, you can see underneath the vent arrangement he had. Remember, no skirt. And it was this Y shape. Took him 3 or 4 months to be test and find that was the optimum. He had circular ones, he had square ones, and this Y-shape was the final optimum version.
It has vents all the way round as well, doesn't
Yes,
it?
yes.
Yeah.
Please come back and have a game. It's free, and it's also demonstrating reverse hovercraft principle. You've got the disc flying round on jets of
Oh,
air.
the jets are coming up.
A lot of you probably still use hover mowers, but a lot of you have forgotten about hover hoovers.
Hover hoover.
Yeah, you used to tug it. It's on the cushion, operating on the cushion of air. Pushing air down. Constellation, hoover constellation. This was used as a demonstration model at the year 2000 Australia Olympics. Honda lawnmower engine at the rear there, single gear change and a throttle. You stepped on it and leant either way. That is all that is left of what was here as Gosport Aviation's, a Hunter aircraft hanging up there. That aircraft took off in November. This lot. It is totally amazing what goes on, what went on at Daedalus.
Hmm.
Explains it all very, very well. Here is the Mark 1 version. See, quite short, but notice the internal passenger compartments.
Yeah.
Right at car deck level. Horrible.
Was that cheaper?
Yeah. And fumes from the car deck, and as I say, totally claustrophobic. You couldn't see a thing. The Mark II version, they got rid of those. They didn't mind doing it because it could get more cars, lorries, vans, what have you. So it lent itself to it quite well. And the very final version, the stretch version, like we've just been on, and on Margaret, with the extra cars and passengers. That is the end of the tour.
Thank you so much,
I
Alan.
hope you enjoyed it. I did.
Absolutely.
And please, please tell your friends we're here. And we do have a manual donation, which will take old fibres, anything you've got basically.
Yeah.
And we've got a brand spanking new high-tech card reader, which if you press a button will grab some money off you. Please, please help us out. And
Thank you so much, Alan.
enjoy the rest
Can I?
of your
Could you
stay.
hold it? I'll clap for Alan. Clap for Alan.
Thanks. Yeah.
Hold, hold.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. Yeah, please. Can I, Alan, with you? Come here, Joy. Thank you so much. And Alan have 3+ decades of experience as a naval officer himself.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Much appreciated.
You're very, very welcome.